What's going on, everyone? So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a trade recap of the trades that I took today, June 14th, and one of those trades was on Tesla, and I made $823 in 59 seconds. It doesn't always happen like that, but I caught it at the right spot, and then the moment it started to speed up, I took quick profits. And then also just a quick update on the Lightspeed account. I sent the wire today, so it should be ready to go within 24 to 48 hours. I'm excited to get it funded, and pretty soon you're going to be seeing a much different trading screen, but I think it's going to look great. So now to get into the watch list for the day, I was watching Tesla, Nvidia, CRSR, Coin, and Riot. So now to get into all the technicals, starting with the SPY and Qs. So the SPY is very strong, above the 9 EMA, just a nice clean trend. So if this continues to make new all-time highs, I don't see any reason to fight that. So the main levels that I was looking to trade around or just get a gauge at which way the market was going to go is all-time high, 424.63. And if there was some weakness and it rolls over, prior day's low, 422.82, maybe there was some downside room to the 9 EMA. And the Qs, so a nice looking daily, trading just under all-time highs. The levels that I was looking at this morning, prior day's low, for some reason there was weakness in the market, 339.69, prior day's high, 341.25, and then also knowing that all-time high is above at 342.80. Now getting into Tesla, so the daily chart is getting tight. This is a nice period of consolidation, and it's kind of converging right around all these moving averages, the 9 EMA, the 20 SMA, and the 200 SMA. So it feels like there is going to be a big move soon. Whether or not it's to the upside or the downside, I have no idea. I think it's going to be to the upside just because I think the bull market wins, especially because the overall market is very strong right now, but trying to not have too much of a bias. So just using those levels I always talk about. So the levels that I was looking at, prior day's high, 616.59, pre-market high, 618.25, and pre-market low, 611.53. And now getting into Nvidia, and the reason why I liked it is because it's a strong daily chart. It continues to make new all-time highs. Eventually, I'm sure there will be a pullback, but for now, no reason to fight that trend. So I was just looking at that new all-time high break, which was also the prior day's high, the main levels that were interesting to trade around, 717.57, prior day's high, and pre-market high, which was above at 720.50. And now to get into CRSR, the reason I added this to the list is because it was a Wall Street Bets name, had a huge move pre-market. This was kind of my crazy name of the day. I wasn't in a rush to trade this, but if the setup looked really good, I would have thought about giving it a chance. I don't think the options are good on it, so I most likely would have just traded shares. And the levels that I thought looked pretty good, being that it was in a long period of consolidation, it cleared this 36 area. So if there's anybody short from this consolidation, they're starting to feel some pain. Also knowing that it is running into some resistance, but it is a big move pre-market. So I was thinking if it could clear pre-market high, maybe there's a chance that this catches some momentum. That level was 42.60. And now getting into Coin, and the reason why I had this on my list is because the recent big move in Bitcoin, being that this is a Bitcoin related name, this had a nice gap up in the pre-market. I thought maybe it could catch a little bit of momentum. Also, there were some nice technical levels on the daily. So as you can see right here, kind of this double top, big area of resistance right around that 230 area to be exact. The prior 2 days highs was 229.79. So I was thinking if it could clear that, and it was also gapping over the 9 EMA, maybe this catches momentum. So that was a main level I was interested in trading around. If for some reason there was weakness, just knowing where pre-market low was, 227.39, and also pre-market high, 231.50. And if it got through pre-market high, I was thinking it had a chance to get to the 20 SMA on the daily, and before the market opened, that was right at 234.25, so just making sure to have that marked. And the last name on the list is Riot. So the reason why I chose Riot, because Mara is also a Bitcoin name or related to Bitcoin, is because the ATR on Riot is a little bigger, so I wanted to go with that name and just making sure to not watch too much. So the reason why this looked pretty good on the daily is because it's above the 9 EMA, above the 20, above the 200, couple days of consolidation, that prior pivot high. So this does look like a little bit of a flag pattern. If it cleared that, I thought it does look good. Maybe there's some upside room to the 50 SMA on the daily. So just knowing where that was, right around the 35, 36 area. So the levels that looked pretty good was this prior pivot high area, 33.09, gets above that and holds it. Does look pretty good. Pre-market low, for some reason there's some weakness, just knowing where that was, 32.76. And then the next technical level above, which is pre-market high, 34.40. Okay, now to get into the trades. So I did make an attempt to trade coin off the open. It pulled back a little bit, was going to be a very quick opening range break at the hole number 233. I wanted to be long the break, went for 300 shares, but because I pulled money out of my account and Interactive Brokers has very specific margin requirements, I went for 300 shares and did not get filled. So that's why that order is there. And now getting into the Tesla trade, the reason why I like this trade is because it sold off a little bit at the open, found some support right around 610. I choose the 612.50 calls, the next strike just out of the money, and it also lines up with right there at that high of day at 612.45. Right there, I see some buyers step in. I want to anticipate that high of day break, so I get long 5 call contracts, the 612.50s, and I got filled at 13.48. And now I just want to see that high of day break, so this is looking pretty good. And then once it starts to speed up, I want to make sure to take my profits. I never know how far it's going to go, but when I get a big green candle and I am in that move, I usually always just take it. So Tesla just made a new high a day, and the high of that prior 1 minute candle is 613. I just want to see this get through 613, and it breaks it no problem. Buyers clearly step in. Very nice green momentum candle, and now I'm clearly in the driver's seat. And that was a big move, so I just want to see if it has one more push higher, gets through 614.50, comes into 615, gets right through 615. That is a very big move. I take the profits on the way up, and I end up getting out of those 5 call contracts at $15.14 for a very nice win. And yes, this did go much higher, but I never know how far something is going to go. When I get a few points that fast, for me, it's always good to just take it. Okay, so here's the second trade on Tesla. So it cleared a lot of technical levels to the upside. This does look like a bit of a flag pattern. Had a huge push, pulled back to the 9 above the VWAP. It held the 9. That was a nice green candle off the 9 EMA. So what I'm trying to do is anticipate the high of day break. High of day is 624.74. I end up going long 3 call contracts, the 625s. I sized down a little bit because I had a very nice win off the open, and I don't want to try to screw that up. I got filled at 1380, and then this is where it starts to pull back. And here is a good example that I'm starting to notice that I am very good off the open. Like within the first 15 to 20 minutes, I'm pretty accurate, and that's where a lot of my P&L comes from. When I start to take trades after that, my win rate goes down drastically. And it's 100% my fault. I usually end up trying to go for a pattern. It pulls back, and I do not get out of it quick enough. And this is a great example. So that was a flag pattern. I feel like I got an okay entry right around that 624, anticipating the high day break. The moment that it went to high day and started to pull back, I needed to just get out of this trade. So I ended up holding this for a handful of minutes. And even though it wasn't technically broken, just for my scalping style, when it doesn't go quick, I need to get out of it. I was keeping in mind where the 9 EMA was. And as you can see, it was holding the 9, but still that's something that I need to do a better job of. And once it held that 9 and it came back towards high of day, I felt better about the trade. I did not want to be stubborn and try to hold this for some big winner. So as this comes back to high day, this is looking pretty good for a high day break. 624.74 gets right through it. And then now this is where I wanted to see this take off and start to really speed up because it had a nice period of consolidation and it just got back above high of day. And if there is momentum, it should go fast. And as you can see, similar to that prior high test, it gets through it. It starts to pull in. I do not like that it's having trouble at that high of day. And then the moment it starts to pull back, I make sure to actually get out of this trade and just accept a small loss. So as it pulls back and it gets back under 624, I end up just getting out of that position for a small loss, which I feel like I got a little lucky because that pullback before could have led to something worse. Gave it a few minutes, had the push towards high of day, failed again, and then that was my sign to bail. And then after that trade, I made sure to take my hands off the keyboard, realize I have one really nice win off the open. The second one was a little questionable. I feel like I got a little lucky and was able to get bailed out of it. But hey, that's what happens sometimes in trading. And knowing all of that information, I knew that it was better off for me to just walk away and call it a day. And that's exactly what I did. Now to go into the portfolio. So on the 612.50 calls, I was in that trade for 59 seconds and made $823, which is fantastic. And those 625 calls, which I got a little lucky, I only lost $18. And when it was all said and done, I ended up being up $805, which is a nice green day. So that was the trade recap. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.